to another wonderful episode of the Startup Celebrity Show, where we showcase emerging spiritual entrepreneurs who are born to be stars, where we showcase their gifts and talent. So this is the platform for them, and if you're interested, get in contact. Alrighty, so if you don't know who I am Elisa, the founder and the host of the thriving Facebook group, The Spiritual Entrepreneurs, where we're hosting more than 17,000 members from around the world. And my guest today is obviously from the group because she got the memo from the group. All right, so we have Stephanie Mathews with us. Yay! And she is a magical mothering mentor. She guides moms to transform their mental mayhem and chaos so that they can live their unique and brilliant expression of who they really are, so that they can be awakened to create a life of more freedom, simplicity, and happiness. Oh my God, I could totally relate. I have 3 children myself. It's not easy. As a mom, if you want to have it all, you really need to have some kind of systems in place to be, not for anything else, but just to keep yourself sane and try to get things done. So without further ado, let's welcome Stephanie. Hey.
Thank you so much for having me, Elisa, and I'm so excited to be here. And I'm just so grateful to be doing what I'm doing. Every day I get to connect with moms and help awaken within them something that a lot of them don't even know that they have. A lot of times moms get so stuck in the everyday of it all, and they forget that they're supposed to be having fun. That's the point. They had kids to be a kid again, to pass on that fun, to create memories. And oftentimes that gets totally lost in all the stuff that has to be done. So my real goal is to help moms realize that they are the magic makers of their lives. They are the ones that are going to get to create their most magical life, because nobody else is going to do it for them. They have to be the one to do it.
Right. So tell us, how did you get into this niche?
Well, I've been a nanny. I love kids. It's just been something that I've always done. And when I became a mom, I went, oh, this is it? No. There's got to be more.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids, a 4.5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. And, when I had kids, I thought that was going to be it. I thought I was just going to be able to settle into momminess and be foreverly blissful. And it is so blissful, but I realized that I need to actually show other moms how blissful it can be.
So what does blissful mean to you? I mean, some moms, blissful means the kids are well fed, they go to school, they have good grades, they're the soccer moms, right? The Americans call it the soccer mom.
Right.
So what does blissful mean to you then?
Blissful means to me is being able to connect with my kids, have a really solid foundation with my husband, to in the night feeling fulfilled and on purpose and passionate about my life. And through each moment, being a little bit more present. So blissful means being present.
Earlier on, we are in a spiritual group, so obviously we are spiritual. So do these moms practice spirituality? Are they spiritual? I mean, what does awakening within themselves mean for you?
Awakening within themselves to me really means finding their soul's purpose. I believe that we're all here. I believe that there's something within us that is so deep that is just waiting to burst out of us. And a lot of times when we become a mom, we forget that there is a bigger piece to us. Some moms wait until their kids grow up, and become adults before their soul's purpose come out. Some of us can do it while our kids are still young. But I truly believe that everybody has something that needs to awaken within them to be shared with the rest of humanity. Otherwise, there's a piece of the puzzle missing.
A lot of moms, they always ask, what can I do? Because most of the moms, like in Singapore, they, how did I say this? Most of us usually go from corporate, and then we have kids, and then, all right, the job sucks. I want to spend more time with the kids. And so they quit, and then they live on one salary, and then they're like, oh my God, this life cannot be there must be more than life because they're depending on their husband's salary.
Right.
And then they want to do something more and they don't know what to do. I mean, if we are spiritual, I mean, we know that we have a deeper calling, we have this higher calling. And what if like these moms know, not that they know, but like they're tired of depending on their husband, yet they don't want a job. And so how do they awaken that thing within themselves? I mean, do you work with spiritual moms or they don't know that they are spiritual yet?
I prefer to work with moms who have at least some inkling that there is something bigger than themselves. They don't have to have a spiritual path. They don't have to have anything even set up. And the program that I offer is a mundane to magical program, and it actually leads moms through the step-by-step process into becoming and creating rituals in your life, following the seasonal rhythms, incorporating strategies and techniques and new communication tools, connection tools. So everything is really outlined. You don't have to have anything prior coming into this. All you have to be as a mom ready and willing to transform your life into something far beyond you could ever imagine.
So how do you have any tools for these moms, right? Like, I know that I'm done with staying home, but I want to do something more. And how do they have it all? Like, that's what blissful means, right? To have it all on her own terms. So what can she do to start right now before she goes into overwhelm and like, I'm not going to do it anymore? What tools do you have?
The biggest and most important tip, I think, is to start being present.
What does being present mean for you?
For me, it means shutting down all the chaos in my mental mayhem that I create. It means stop creating things that aren't there, thinking about how you're going to do it all when it's not even right now. You might have a list of, I need to do the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning, and to just stop and sit down with your kids, pick up a block or a crayon and start coloring with them. That's what being present means, because I feel like you can't have it all unless you're in the moment to experience it all. You miss so much when you can't experience and get full fulfillment from the moment you're in if you're always trying to jump to the next thing that isn't even in this moment.
Right. That's so true. I think living in the moment, whether you're a mother or not, you can totally take this gem away. Like, you have to live in the moment, especially moms. I think we have just 1,001 things in our mind. Like right now, I mean, I'm at home in between being a chauffeur mom and working on my business. I just took my daughter back and I haven't had a daughter to pick up, and I'm like off work at 2:00, So you just figure it out on your own. Like if you want to have a business, you just need to outsource and just figure it out. Right?
And be present while you're doing it.
Yeah, totally. And is your husband supportive? And do you think like husbands need to be supportive in our journey? Like, is your husband supportive?
Absolutely. I've worked with some moms who didn't share with their husbands that they were working on this program. And you don't succeed because you don't have that support. They don't have to even financially back it if you can back it yourself financially, but they have to at least love and support you enough to know that you are your own human being that has a greater purpose, and for you to be the light for your own kids and to your husband, so that you can show I shine bright too. You want to see? And then it gets them more passionate because they see you being passionate, and then you guys can each feed each other's passions. And a lot of times husbands don't have to stay in the work that they're doing, because then they can find their soul's purpose because they're not having to support their family by themselves anymore.
Right.
The moms can actually come up and be doing their soul's purpose.
Yeah, true. I think a lot of relationship squibbles it boils down to communication problem. Like the mom is frustrated because she's depending on the husband. The husband is also frustrated because he's feeding the entire family. And then when they come back and they're so frustrated and they stop talking to one another, that's when really the downward cycle happens. I remember, the
Yep.
time when I told my husband I was going to hire a coach, and he was like, "Are you sure? We don't have enough. Like, what do you mean?" But once I took that
Yeah.
decision, I made the decision on my own, and literally the rest is history. And he's like, "Okay, okay, I trust you now." And I think a lot of times the husband is reflecting the mother's insecurities, right?
Absolutely.
So, do you have any strategies or tips to get the husband on board?
Yeah. I think the best, and like you said, it boils down to communication. Actually speaking your feelings,
Mm-hmm.
actually expressing your thoughts. I mean, so often we sit and go, oh, my husband's never going to agree to this. Oh, he's never going to want to help pay for. And we have all these things. Again, it's about this mental clutter that we create, these whole storybooks in our heads about how we don't have any support. And then all of a sudden, when we start actually communicating, I feel that I need this to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to start contributing to this household. I want to be a partner in this. All of a sudden, it gets so much easier because now you've shared from your heart and connected and communicated in a way that is authentic. And you can actually listen to what their real thoughts are instead of make believing what you think is going to happen.
So, what do you think is the number one challenge that most mothers face these days?
Hmm.
And therefore, they need your services.
Yeah. I feel like the number one thing that I keep running into over and over again is the fact that they feel like everybody else is in control of their life. Their life, they'll get more freedom when their kids get a little older. They'll get it. They'll be able to do this when their husbands get a different job or make more money, or when their relationship gets better. Everything has to do with everybody else in their life. And that's the number one thing. And so for me, it's really about educating moms that if you want your life to change, you're the only one that can change it. If you want your life to become more magical and awesome and blissful, it's only your choice. They are the only ones that can choose this.
Right. So, what was your life before you discovered this blissful, magical place? And I mean, that's the reason why you do what you do, I suppose, right? That's your story. So, what was your story before this magical place?
Well, when I first had kids, kids were just so natural and easy for me, but there came an overwhelm just because when I used to work with kids, I used to make a lot of money doing it. And now I worked with my own kids, and it was just the grind every day, stuck in the grind. And I said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And my husband and I actually sold everything we owned, moved into a travel trailer,
Wow.
went off grid, and lived in the desert like crazy hippies for almost 6 months.
Wow.
And I realized that everything
How old were your
changed
kids
in
then?
that moment.
How old were you?
We 15 months and 3 days old.
What? What? 3 days old? How could you do this? I mean,
3 days. So I had my daughter unassisted. I had her in a bathtub at my mother's house, and I didn't have any medical professionals there. And 3 days later, we packed up our trailer and swept off and lived the most magical journey that I've ever experienced in my life.
3 days.
And because I
what was going on in your head? Like, what was that cause of decision?
I just had to get connected. I had to get connected to source. I had to get back to nature. I felt like I had lost who I was, and I couldn't take it a moment longer. I waited 3 days until after she was.
Did your husband feel the same, like he needed to connect back to source? I mean, like, this is a huge decision.
Yeah.
He felt the same way?
And we did this wild thing together. And I think that's the most profound thing that I've realized is if you can share your wild, crazy ideas and passions and fully express them, you just never know what'll happen. There might just be somebody that says, okay, let's do it.
I mean, like, I have to ask you this, like 3 days and 15 months old. Were you scared?
No.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
You know,
3 days.
there's something.
I mean, like, gosh, it's like you
3
just
days.
did this big sacred act.
Yes.
My God.
And, you know, and it's really, I just felt so pulled. I felt like it was a pulling and something I had to do. And I feel like that's when we're living in the moment and present, we feel those pulls. If you're getting caught up in the craziness of what is everybody going to think of me? I have a 3-day-old. I can't go live in my trailer. I could have been thinking all of those. I could have been scared. I could have been, but I wasn't. I was fully present.
And that's normal for someone to think like, oh my God, 3 days old. That would be normal thoughts. Although it's mind chatter, but it's the normal thoughts. So tell me more, like,
right.
How are you? I mean, like, I am in shock right now. So how did you manage to collect yourself after this big sacred act of giving birth? And 3 days, my God, I have 3 children myself. So after 3 days, you're still weak, right? Sort of, kind of. And where did you, and you're saying because you're in the moment, there's no fear. Okay, I get it. Like, that's why it's a big thing for you. If you're in the moment, there shouldn't be fear, right? Because if there's fear, then that's the wrong pull. I mean, like, gosh, go on, tell me more. Like I can't even express myself right now. But
when we decided to do this, we had been planning it, and so we'd been staying in the trailer already at my mother's house, and I had known, everybody was like, give yourself a couple weeks before you move out. That way you can be settled. And by 3 days, I had looked in this baby's eyes and I said, I need to be present. I need to be away from this chaos, the environment. And that's what I'm saying where,
how does that, what do you mean by chaos? How was your environment? What do you mean by chaos?
Well, we live in the mountains, and I was down in the city with my mom, to be closer to a hospital in case anything happened, because I was doing it by myself. And I could just feel that energy. I could feel the energy of the busyness of things to do, things to buy, things go, go, go. There's just this energy that was surrounding me. And at the time, I was in the same place as all the other mothers of I had to change my environment in order for me to change. And now I've realized that all I have to do is change my inner environment and my outer environment will change.
Right.
And that was what I wasn't connecting with. And so I was in the same space as all these other moms that I'm working with that think they have to change everything outside of themselves, their environment. I need a different house. I have to move. When my husband does this, when my kids do this. But when we get to a place where we learn that it is only our inner environment that has to change, and then everything outside of us changes, that's when magic happens. That's when the transformation happens.
Let me ask you a question. Now that you said with this new awareness, would you still have moved?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. I wouldn't take the journey back for anything. It was how I knew where I was going. It's how I found my soul's purpose. And I wouldn't take that back for anything. And it was hard physically to, we actually lived off grid. So we were siphoning water out of barrels. And I mean, we were pioneering it literally.
Sure.
It was hard work, but again, you had to be in the moment with every step that you did. And there wasn't any other things to do because you had to just get done what you needed to do in that moment. So got me.
I have to ask you this question. This ridiculous question just popped up. Did you have TV?
There was no internet there. We had to go to a local restaurant in town, so about 20 minutes away, and we could use our phones and our laptop there.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of reading. My husband's a musician, so he was playing guitar and creating song. It was just this really birthing of all of us being our authentic selves.
I think this message is needed for people who lives in the city. Like me, I'm a city girl. I don't think I can. I mean, I haven't tried, so I'm assuming, but I actually consciously do not want to put myself in the like. No, I don't think so. But I know I haven't tried. Maybe I can survive. Maybe I actually love it. I'm not sure. But the closest to what you did is to actually travel out of my comfort zone and to really experience what is there out there in the wilderness, like out there. Right. But I think this message is really appropriate for city girls, city moms, because we're all caught up in the busyness. I don't know about you in the States, but like in Singapore, the moms are always comparing results. Like, why did you do this? Like the in thing of the education system, I'm gonna do this, and we're all caught up in that thing. Like, if she did, if the child did this, then my child has got to do this too. But if you're in the wilderness, come on, what are you gonna compare yourself to, right? You're just free to be you, right? No wonder the kids are like, oh gosh, so much things happening. So
and you brought up a great point that a big thing that I was able to drop and release were expectations. And as moms, we have so many expectations for ourselves, our kids, who we have to compare ourselves to. Expectations are out of this world. I mean, we put expectations on us to dress a certain way, to look a certain way, to wake up in the morning and feel a certain way. We have expectations for every aspect of our lives. And so another big part of what I teach moms is how to lose the expectations. And you don't have to lose them completely, but you have to start getting rid of the ones that aren't necessary anymore. The ones where you expect
something just popped up, like, because I mean, I'm a city girl. I don't watch TV all the time, but I sometimes meet my lame fix of e-news and pop culture and stuff, on Facebook all the time. And, we live up to other people's expectation. Oh, that coach did this, so I'm going to do that. But you in this wilderness with your trailer and the woods, I mean, like, there's no reference to who you can and cannot be.
Right.
That is when you find your true self, and that's freedom.
That's exactly
it. I have another question on the practical terms. Then how did you survive? Did you feel like you needed money?
After the 5 months, my husband said, okay, I need to get a real job. So we did. We moved back into a house and slowly got acclimated into living like normal people. I don't think we ever really fully became normal again after that, because you can't. Once you have that experience, you don't ever want to get back into mainstream society. You don't ever want to collect all the expectations and collect all the, I have to have the newest, best, greatest jonesing. It just, you lose all of that. And so it did take me almost a year of grieving and being really sad that I couldn't just live in the forest free to do whatever I wanted. But that's again where that transition came of realizing that it wasn't my outer circumstances. Yeah. Yes. So I told my husband just the other day, I go, I never realized how absolutely wonderful you really are. Because what other man would, come along and say, let's do this craziness together?
Yeah. Oh my God. So amazing. So amazing. I'm still in shock. Seriously. My mind is pictures of you and your husband like chopping woods. I don't know. Did you do that?
You know, we didn't have a fireplace. We had a little gas heater inside of our trailer. So it was so simple. So the main things that if anybody's just watching the video is to release the expectations, communicate your wildest desires, because you know what? They might just come true. And then what do you get to do? You get to go on this crazy adventure.
So I have another question, Stephanie. I'm in my head right now. Now that you have actually experienced nature in its natural form, which is so rare in our fast-paced society, what would you say to us, lame people, like city girls? Like, I need my lame fix of news. Like I just need it sometimes. Like people don't hate the Kardashians, but people love to watch them because I'm lame.
I used to be one of those.
So, I mean, it's few and rare in this era now that we have, get to experience this nature in its purest form. So do you have any, what's the difference? Like when you look at us, what do you feel like, I'm just curious, right? Like you're seriously like you're Tarzan and Jane, so you look at city people like you're dumb shit, like
and I grew up in the city. And so I know that feeling of disconnect. And I know that fear that actually comes from stepping into the wild. And yet there is such a need for it, especially with our kids. I feel like our kids are the ones that are missing it most because they're the first generation that has really been like isolated from nature. Even us in our 30s, we had nature as kids, but our kids now are really getting separated from nature more and more. And I tell moms, venture out, find the closest wild place. No, not a play structure, not a playground, but a wild place. And let your kids see what your kids do. It might take a couple weeks of going there once a week, but they'll become different people. They'll start expressing themselves in a more authentic way. Because that's what nature does. You can't hold back. You can't hide in nature.
Sure. So what are your thoughts about kids with technology?
I used to be much more... Oh, no, I
haven't gotten you on a soapbox.
I used to have a soapbox. I definitely will say that. And you know what I've come to realize? That we're all individuals. And as moms, we need to stop trying to tell other moms what's the right thing to do.
We
need to start supporting each other and loving each other and saying, this is how I do it. How do you do it? Is it working? Okay, this is what's working for me. What is working for you? Let's talk. Let's dialogue. Are you struggling with that? Because I kind of am. And being really honest, because that's what mothering needs. Mothering needs to
that being said, I think a lot of moms have this ego mom, like, that ego persona as well. Like, you can't tell me I can't feed my kid with warm, like cold milk. Like, they have this ego thing going on while other people. So it's like, I'm right and you're wrong. There's bound to be this ego thing going on. So there you go. I mean, I love what you said. Moms should stop bitching. But they should actually start supporting one another because, like entrepreneurs, our journey is not easy. It's a very lonely. I think moms are even worse. Like,
absolutely. We need to stop competing with each other and start collaborating with each other, and taking the uniqueness and taking all the aspects of ourselves and letting our kids see that. Oh, they're all different, and yet they're still friends. They don't have to compete with each other. Who else are our kids going to learn this from? Except for us. The TV's not showing it to them. Media's not showing it to them. And we're the spiritual entrepreneurs of today, trying to transform the world. It has to start with our kids.
Right. I mean, I'm guilty of technology. I'm also sucked in. I mean, it's... I'm not saying I am.
I think Facebook suck anybody in.
I think so too. And now that my business is online, so I sort of have like an excuse to be online all the time. But it just drives me a little insane, you know. And I think yes, we do need to take a break. And I'm really inspired by. I mean, as much as I'm in the city area, I always choose to live where there is, you know, whatever nature that's left in the city because it calms me. I mean, like to be honest, to go hiking, it's not really my thing. But I still want to be close to nature because it just keeps you at. So, what is the number one tip and strategy for moms you have today? Like, I know the great thing is to stop competing and start collaborating, but like for moms who know that they want something bigger, but they don't know how to get there. Like, who am I to like go change the world? Like, who am I to be like Stephanie and like I don't know what I'm supposed to do because there are a lot of moms like this. You know, they step out because they've been told how to think. They've been told what to do. They've been told that success is like a this, like that, like that. So suddenly they're bare naked when they're like, gosh, what can I do? I don't know anything. What else except to go back to corporate? And I'm sure there are lots of moms like this. What do you have to say to them?
You know, I would say you have to get present first. That's first. You got to get present. And then you have to start asking yourself questions. What do I like? What am I good at? What am I passionate about? What have I always been passionate about? Think back to when you were a kid. A lot of times as kids, we already know what our soul's purpose is.
Yeah, totally.
What did you want to do when you were a kid? It might not be being a firefighter anymore. You know what I mean? It might not look the same, but that feeling is there. What did you want to do? What did you want to help people serve? Because that's our soul's purpose, is serving humanity in a big way. And so find that feeling of what you were really passionate about before it kind of got stripped away with all the expectations and the competition and the, you know, of everything and the judgments. Strip those all away and start really going, yeah, you know, when I was a kid, I used to love doing this and I could do that for hours. I wonder if I could still do that for hours. And start playing and start creating. Pick up a pencil and a piece of paper and see if you like to draw. I think art is a fantastic way. Start singing randomly new songs to your kids. Make them up. Start telling stories. Hey, once upon a time, start telling stories of magical beings that you thought up and crazy little stories. Your kids will be like, who is this woman? She's amazing. You'll blow them away because they see a side of you that is playful and curious and exciting. And then all of a sudden, you're open to receive what divine source, you know, spirit, the universe wants to tell you.
Yeah.
You have to get open. And once you get open, oh man, it'll hit you and you'll go, oh my gosh, it's so simple. That's what I'm here to do. Because often it is so simple. It's something that you're really naturally good at. It's something that you love to do. And it's something that people will pay you for because you're really good at it and they're not. And they're going to go, how do you do that? You're going to go, well, it comes so easy. That's your soul's purpose.
Like, nice. I think this is a great tool for people who are looking to find their niche, not just moms.
Yes, absolutely.
So where can we find you, Stephanie?
At magicalmothering.com.
Magical mothering.
.com.
Cool. We'll have all the information up there for you. So thank you so much, Stephanie. You're an amazing woman. Oh my God, you're like the modern Jane of our society. Oh God. You know what? No, the world really needs to see more of you. And I'm so excited and honored that this is the first interview that I've attended. I mean, like, my God, I wish and pray that you have more interviews coming your way.
Thank you.
You know, your message is really loud and clear. I mean, seriously, it's amazing. That's why I love to do these startup celebrity shows. Like, you get to meet gems like yourself that are just in the I literally lured you out of the woods. Literally. So I wish and hope that we'll see more of you. And it's amazing work. Yes, going back to nature, you have the tools, and gosh, mothers need a lot of support. Mothers do need a lot of help. Stop competing and start collaborating. I mean, this collaboration doesn't end and begin with business. It can start and end as a human being, right? And oh man, and then we will just hold hands and we'll just connect from that space. So
Absolutely.
I really, really love your work, and it's, oh my God, I am so thrilled that you actually raised your hand and came forward. Otherwise, we would never have gotten to know this wonderful story. Indeed, every woman has a story, every mother has a story, and
Yes.
you are powerful, you are amazing, and so thank you so much for joining us. If you are not part of our community, please go ahead and go and join and get your ass there. With the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, go Facebook, Google it. I call it the Facebook Google bar, and type in the Spiritual Entrepreneurs. You see my pretty face there, and get your bum ups over there. All right, so I'll see you in another episode, and thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us. You can contact her, and she's part of our community, so come network with her there as well. All right, so take care and see you soon. Bye.